You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines: ZAMRA board dissolved due to incompetence, charges Health Minister. ECZ to commence online voter verification this Sunday. Father LUPUPA apologizes to the nation over the election rigging statement. In international news, Biden lays out foreign policy plan to reverse Trump agenda. And in sports news, MKUSHI Warriors Sunshine March postponed after death of warrior player. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has launched the inspection of the Provisional Register of Voters to commence on Sunday. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano has told a media briefing that they have devised the electronic means of the verification of voter details on the Provisional Register in the wake of the COVID-19. Mr. Nshindano adds that the Commission will later on, from the 29th of March 2021, conduct a physical inspection of the Provisional Register. More in this report.
In the COVID-19 era, the use of technological innovations has become more vital than ever before, and the Electoral Commission of Zambia wants to be counted when it comes to the utilization of ICT facilities. The ECZ has since launched the inspection of the Provisional Register to commence on Sunday. The electronic-based inspection of the register will involve the use of the website platform and phone USSD code. By dialing *214#, you will be able to check if your details are correct or not. For those whose details are not correct, the actual correction will be made during the physical inspections. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano Friday told a media briefing that they have devised the electronic means of verification of voter details on the Provisional Register in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic.
In this period, we'll be offering other services such as the replacement of lost or damaged voters' cards, transfers for those who would like to change their polling stations, and removal of deceased voters from the register. There is a huge possibility that those that registered during this period of time could have a few people that have left us, so this will also be a time for us to remove. The Commission will also receive any objections and appeals during the same period.
Mr. Nshindano adds that the Commission will later on, from the 29th of March 2021, conduct the physical inspection of the Provisional Register.
Registered voters are encouraged to verify the accuracy of their details. If one finds that some of their details are not correct, they will have to wait for the physical inspection of the register of voters to correct the details in person, because you have to go and have your card replaced. So you have to go for that physical inspection exercise. On the other hand, if you find that your details are correct, you need not go for physical inspection. So we'll have very few people, hopefully there are very few that have issues in the register. So we have very few people that are going to go for the actual physical inspection. So we encourage all of you to do that. This service will be available starting this Sunday, 7th of February, and will run up to 7th of May. Up to 7th of May.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Minister of Health Jonas Chanda has with immediate effect dissolved the board of directors at the Zambia Medicine Regulatory Agency, ZAMRA, due to what he terms as incompetence. Addressing the media Friday, Dr. Chanda has also effected changes in the health sector by abolishing 10 directorates. This means that the ministry will now have 7 directorates from 17. The minister says the measures are aimed at restoring confidence in the health sector. More in this report.
The recent happenings in the health sector has left many puzzled, and one wonders when action will be taken against those involved in putting the lives of innocent Zambians at risk. While public confidence has been dampened at the health ministry, restoring it will mean more than the recent recalls of the defective medicines, considering that human beings have already consumed the said products. However, Minister of Health Dr. Jonas Chanda has taken into action and has with immediate effect dissolved the board of the Zambian Medicine Regulatory Agency due to the recent happenings which he said could have been avoided.
The mandate of the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority is regulating medicines for public and animal health protection. However, the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, has not performed in line with its mandate and to the expectation of the people of Zambia, government, and our stakeholders. This is arising from the recent happenings at the institution, hinging on medicines and supplies quality issues and other governance matters. These happenings are unacceptable, could have been avoided, and cannot be condoned. In line with Section 7.1 of the Medicines and Allied Substances Act No. 3 of 2013, I have today removed all board members from the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority Board, and I will be appointing new board members in due course.
The health minister has, among other things, stripped the Ministry of Health with the procurement functions.
The transitioning from medical stores to ZAMSA now means that procurement functions will no longer be at the Ministry of Health, at Ndeke House. These functions are now moving to ZAMSA. In addition, operationalization of ZAMSA is expected to ensure timely availability of medicines and medical supplies in public health facilities, enabled through the establishment of a Medicines and Medical Supplies Fund to support the procurement of medicines and medical supplies for public health facilities. I urge our cooperating partners who I met yesterday and other stakeholders to support this fund.
The minister has also assured that he will consult the way forward with the procurement and supply contract of honeybee.
The matters to do with issuing or revoking licenses of pharmaceutical suppliers, such as honeybee and others, lies with ZAMRA. That is the mandate of ZAMRA. They issue licenses or they revoke licenses. My ministry will be consulting the Attorney General regarding the way forward on this contract, and the nation will be informed in due course. I will not comment much on this issue as it is before Parliament, and parliamentary procedure dictates that the Public Accounts Committee, which has finished interrogating this matter, will present the report in Parliament very soon, to which the Executive, through the Minister of Health, will officially respond to.
The health sector is also being realigned to make it more responsive and fit for the purpose of driving the transformational agenda towards the universal health coverage.
I urge all leaders at various levels of our health sector to operate under these tenets, as there will be no sacred cows. In short, those who are in the health sector and are working against the mandate of the health sector will make sure that we will fish you out. No one will be protected. There will be no sacred cows, because we have a mandate to save the Zambian people and not to harm them. I urge Zambians and stakeholders to trust us as we embark on a reforming path
Dr. Jonas Chanda has since sent a strong warning to healthy professionals to ensure sanity is restored in the healthy sector. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Citizens, Environment and Social Concern Executive Director Conwell Hakapia has called on government to find a lasting solution to the issue of floods affecting peri-urban areas of Lusaka. Mr. Hakapia says the focus must be directed in areas with high unplanned settlements where he believes the problem is severe. He notes that there is need to put up a good drainage system in order to mitigate the impact of floods in the capital city. He observes the need to create awareness of proper waste management in view of addressing incidents of drainage blockages in areas such as Kanyama, Misisi, John Leng and Kalikiliki compounds.
Damage has already been done, like in most places in Lusaka, damage has already been done, but we can't fold our hands and say, oh, it's already been done, so it should be business as usual, they will continue being in floods. No, we can find an alternative of finding a way in which that water can be channeled out of the area. We need to make more drainages around the area so that it can take out the water. And number two, we need proper sensitization and bringing on board stakeholders. These same producers of plastics, they are the same people who are supposed to be on the ground and see to it that they promote proper waste management in those areas. Besides, that's why they even have the biggest clientele in the first place. So we need to have a concerted effort to see to it that we have a drainage system in those areas that is clear, that is not used as dump sites. People should be brought on board. We sensitize the general public and everybody comes on board to see to it that the drainages are working, and we won't have these.
Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe has handed over a borehole with a tank to residents of Bauleni compound in Mulundu area. Speaking when she handed over the project, Ms. Mwanakatwe says government has placed on top of its agenda the provision of water as enshrined under government's national plans and that of the ministry in charge of water. She notes that her office does not want to see its people suffer due to lack of such a life-saving commodity as water, hence coming to their aid. So far, her office has sunk 5 boreholes in Bauleni area, with the 6th one to be handed over to the public.
Very pleased today to be here to commission this tank. It's a 5,000 litre tank and it's 1,000 meters deep. We've got another borehole that side, which is 55 meters, and we're going to be having to put another tank there. This area has not had water for a while, so the people here are needing water. Like the Vice Chairman said, water is life. That's why I'm happy to be here in the area called Mulundu to make sure that we have a tank with water. What is remaining is about 20 taps, which will allow the people to be able to draw water from here, and also 20 taps from there. This area is also needing a police post, because sometimes we have characters that coming through here and then go and disturb the people of Bali by stealing in the main. So we're going to be putting a police post here. We'll put the water, and yes, that bridge which needs to be done. I've heard the cry from the people that you would like the tarmac back, because in coming through this side, this really cuts back a lot of the time. As it is now, we're having to come round to come here, but we want this road done. Social distance. Social distance.
Meanwhile, the residents who could not hide their joy say water in the area has been a challenge for years due to its geographical location. The residents who took turns in singing and dancing to the new water system have since praised their lawmaker for listening to their cries as residents, especially women.
Just continuing doing the job in this community. She started a long time ago. And she has brought a tank here for water, as you know that water is life for each and everyone. We need all Baolen's to have water. Water to wash, water to drink, water to bath.
Water is life.
And another tank is coming opposite Zaf, near the Waffles Zaf. There's another tank of already sunk it.
So taona kuti mkazi nofunikira chifukwa mkazi amangana pa problem yamene ipita mu bakazi simagona mu nyumba chifukwa cha manzi so chamene mwachita ise siza chipitika kambe kulimwe koma mulungu azakupasani mpavu tukasebenze mwamene mwasebenzera kuno na kwinangu takuya mikilani kopambana mwafika nchi.
We want to assure you as youths that Tizangala bantu very peaceful following vanemuna tipunzisa imwe a very peaceful mother. Tizangala bantu very violent even when we come to election. So as people on behalf of my violent youths, na ifeti onga ziko mamaningi pa makolo watu wose kunyumba mwana kulimvula sembe bantu taboya titiba tilifulu hapa. But we thank you very much, Honorable Pavindu, very much still.
Two United Party for National Development officials who were arrested and charged with 4 counts of theft, forgery, altering official documents and giving false information contrary to the laws of Zambia have been released on police bond. UPND Presidential Spokesperson Anthony Bwalia and Special Assistant for Special Duties Mubita Nawa were initially detained at Lusaka's Woodlands Police Station but were on Tuesday morning transferred to Mansa, where the crime is said to have been committed from. Speaking to journalists after being released, the two say they are not intimidated by the current happenings. More in this report.
United Party for National Development spokesperson Anthony Bwalia and Special Assistant for Special Duties Mubita Nawa were arrested over the weekend. Initially, they were detained at Lusaka's Woodlands Police Station, but on Tuesday morning, they were transferred to Mansa, where the crime is said to have been committed from. The two UPND officials were arrested and charged with 4 counts of theft, forgery, altering official documents, and giving false information contrary to the laws of Zambia. They have since been released on police bond and will appear in court soon. The UPND leadership in LUPUPA province is saddened that they were area denied police bond and made to spend over 48 hours in police custody.
We are really thank you for our brothers, Mr. Anthony Bwalia and Mr. Nawa, for the job that they have done here in LUPUPA province. To bring them here, it's not by mistake, but they are just bring emphasize and encouragement for the LUPUPA people. We say thank you for the people, for the leadership of Mr. Loy Mwansa and all the colleagues that they have suffered for 3 days, where they were coming to the police station to give solidarity to our brothers that are coming from Lusaka.
The testimony is the ambassador. He has witnessed. Moreover, even our president is the ambassador. People are being detained for useless offenses. People are being detained more than 30 days. People are there in cells for 2 months. What is the law? So what we are saying is, these are the ambassadors of those who are remaining there.
Following their release, Mr. Bwalia and Mr. Nawa say they are not intimidated despite being detained, saying they will continue providing checks and balances to the Patriotic Front administration.
We want to thank you and we want to encourage you as a leadership, and we want to encourage the people of Zambia, especially those in LUPUPA province, particularly those ones here in Mansa. We always say that our incarceration and the small inconvenience on our civil liberties that Nawa and myself suffered, it is not in vain. It is not for the UPND. It is not for President Hakainde Hichilema. This is for the country that we love, the country that we all call home. This has given us an opportunity to get a very clear perspective of how the people of LUPUPA province and in Mansa particularly continue to be impoverished.
To the young people in Zambia, we say to you, do not be scared. Do not be intimidated. Our ribs might be swollen, our hips bruised, but our lips are passionate about the truth, which is that wrong is wrong. Thank you, Zambia. Mwitina yo. Nangu mairo wali tulali kamona futi nishama pepa na yakuma nina. Ushiku motetu woleshe inama ya nsofu yo. Nangu weekend ngana tuingira muna ena. Kula shita ukule elila ulenda. But we are not scared, we are not intimidated, we'll keep talking.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The complainants in the case of criminal trespass against UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema have confessed they had no interest taking the businessman come politician to court. Feluna and Milton Hatembo have also fired their lawyer and are asking the Law Association of Zambia LAS to discipline him for acting on their behalf without their permission to appeal the recent High Court ruling. In an exclusive interview with Baita FM News Friday morning, Feluna disclosed that she initiated court processes to prove to her brothers that she had nothing to do with the sale of the property. Asked whether she knew the farm was properly bought, Feluna, who is the administrator of the property of the late Samson Siatembo, admits the farm was bought and adds that each family member sold their own portion even without her consent. She has also categorically dismissed claims of being forced and threatened to withdraw the matter from court. They recently lost the case in the High Court in which they accused Hichilema of trespassing on farm number 1924 in Kalomo. Meanwhile, Milton and his sister have denied challenging the ruling of Livingstone High Court. They have since withdrawn their appeal while accusing their lawyer, El Mumba of Messrs. Fred Jerry and Company of acting on their own interests.
Venye twagachiri hatwaye uti tugagajite tugakuhega mbu koti kamba uti bina ni bakatwambira ro judgment letter tibatupa tenejo yatubera tijatu salary tijatu hotera pe obina ni bakachita consult in this way. So we decided we nkabusa uti tugawi kushekesi. Or the above lawyer was our lawyer in the High Court of case of Feluna Hatembo and Milton Hatembo. Blessed Hakainde Hichilema. But we lost the case through the ruling by Madam Justice Sirombe P, who dismissed our action on the grounds that it was stated there. So why we out there is no need of the Katuyabu. The manner of it. So we are trying to withdraw. But in trying to go about to sign the paper last association of Zambia.
A 29-year-old businesswoman of Lusaka's Zambia Railways compound, accused of pouring hot water on her husband's abdomen and private part last month, has been committed to the Lusaka High Court for trial. This is in a case in which Susan Mundlongwa is charged with one count of causing grievous harm with intent to harm, disfigure, or disable Derek Walia, her husband, contrary to Section 224 of the laws of Zambia. When the accused appeared for explanation of the charge before Magistrate Felix Kauma, she was committed to the High Court following instructions from the Director of Public Prosecutions. However, she was denied bail and was told she can only make the application before the High Court. More in this report.
It is a common story to hear about people acting out in anger after marital dispute, but sometimes things are just taken a little too far. Susan Mundolongwa, an estranged wife who poured hot water on her husband, has been committed to the High Court for trial. The 29-year-old accused, who appeared before Magistrate Felix Kauma for explanation of the charge, was informed that the offense she was charged with is only trialed by the High Court, looking at the degree of the pains caused on her husband. Mundolongwa badly scolded Derek Walia, her husband, after a marital dispute last month. She is facing one count of causing grievously harm with intent to disfigure or disable, contrary to Section 224 of the laws of Zambia. She is alleged to have committed the offense on New Year's Day, the 1st of January 2021. According to police spokesperson Esther Katongo, the alleged incident occurred around 23 hours when the victim, Derek Walia, aged 46, was at his house waiting for his wife to return home. Their husband was infuriated that his wife arrived home late and slapped her, but she resorted to picking a pot containing hot water and poured it on her husband. The victim, Mr. Walia, sustained serious injuries on his body. The accused later ran away and the victim was rushed to Matero Level 1 hospital where he was admitted. Without having peace of what she had done, the accused, who had gone on the run, later went to Matero Level 1 hospital to check on her husband, but was later picked and arrested by the police. After being committed to the High Court, the accused applied for a bail. However, Magistrate Kauma denied her the application for bail and informed her that she can make the said application at the High Court. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A pharmacy technologist and 2 police officers have been dragged to court for allegedly stealing medicine from the government valued at around 216,000 kwacha. The trio are employees at Medical Stores Limited. The accused in this case are 59-year-old Kenneth Chikwanda, a police officer, 41-year-old Vincent Chibale, a pharmacy technologist, and 47-year-old Port Fapiri, a police officer. They stand charged with forgery, uttering false documents, theft by public servant, and person suspected of having or conveying stolen property. Allegations are that the 3 accused between the 1st of January 2019 and the 30th of November 2020 forged a delivery note purporting to show that it was genuinely issued by Medical Stores Limited, when in fact not. It is also alleged that Port Fapiri uttered a false delivery note to Akim Sakala, a pharmacy technologist at Nangoma Mission Hospital. In the 3rd count, it is alleged that between January 1st, 2019 and November 20th, the 4 being employed in the public service store various medicines. It is further alleged that Piri had in his possession 2x5 liters of disinfectants reasonably suspected of having been stolen or unlawfully obtained. The accused, who are currently on police bond, were not before court to take their plea before Lusaka Magistrate Tandosa Chabala. And moving on in the news, Catholic priest Father Laston Lupupa has unreservedly apologized to Zambians for a statement he made suggesting that it is better to rig elections than to allow some people to govern. This follows a wide condemnation from some people who took to social media and mainstream media to express their displeasure after he issued those remarks in a sermon. In a short video clip that he posted on his Facebook page, Father Lupupa said he was sorry for making such a statement as a servant of God. The clergy is saying he decided to apologize after being given a go-ahead and counsel by leaders of the church to address the matter. Father Lupupa has since pleaded with all those aggrieved by his statement to find a place in their hearts to forgive him over the remarks he made.
Chawama twachitariga ama elections. Ukuchira bambi bakateke. Quote me. Nine Father Laston Robert Lupupa SJ. Therefore kulomba obwelelo kuli mwebe kalachalo mwebe na Zambia makamaka mwebe umfuile lya shipa social media okutila ine nalandile kukanwa kandi amashu ya kuchitarigi ama results ya ma elections mukwa indelo mbobwelelo pantu pamunga shima pipo amashu ya msangoyu tafilo kufumakana kandi makamaka kuli abamulukutalwa chikatolika kokona iminine kuntanshi kubila mbila nsuma ya kwa Kristo oluvanyuma yakulangishanya n'abakalamba bakilonganino napeelwa ensambu yakutila ning'alanda kulima imwe bonse mwe bakinenwe makamaka okukilapo.
We take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin.
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant Save Nations to Develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Vice President Inonge Wina says government has commenced an assessment to determine the rationale for the increase in cement prices in the country. Mrs. Wina says once the assessment is concluded, government will take appropriate action based on the findings. The Vice President, however, says the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry will soon engage cement producers to find the way forward for the benefit of the Zambian people. Meanwhile, Mrs. Winner says government will continue to attract investments in the cement manufacturing sector to increase the number of cement manufacturers in order to bring down the high cement price in the country. This was in response to a question raised by Chilanga Member of Parliament Maria Langa, who wanted to find out if government was aware of the 18% increase in the cement prices in Lusaka.
Indeed, the government is aware of the increase in the price of cement and has commenced an assessment to determine the rationale for this increase. And once the assessment is concluded, government will take appropriate action based on the findings. The Minister of Commerce will, in the meanwhile, sit with all producers of cement in the country to find a way forward for the benefit of our people. And beyond the current increase, in the medium to long run, Mr. Speaker, government will continue to attract investment in cement manufacturing sector to increase the number of cement manufacturers in order to bring down the price of cement. We know that we live in a liberalized market, but even that market should not take advantage of the situation and exploit the people.
Parliament has ratified the African Continental Free Trade Area aimed at substantially removing all restrictions to trade and investment on the African continent. Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary Munshuma Mulenga has confirmed this development and says Zambia has now ascended to the Free Trade Area. Mr. Mulenga says the export of agriculture and food products, especially in its raw form, has faced compliance challenges, especially in the area of sanitary and phytosanitary. The permanent secretary said this when he launched the training of risk assessment in the production and trade. Details in this report.
The African Continental Free Trade Area has been a subject of debate on the preparedness of Zambia to this call. While various stakeholders have raised concern and cited that Zambia might be a dump site for foreign products, others have also argued that the deal might be an opening that Zambia needs to have its product reach the international market. In March of 2018, the African Union Commission launched the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, whose objective is to accelerate regional, economical, political and social integration through the establishment of a free trade area aimed at sustainably removing all restrictions to trade and investment on the African continent. Zambia signed the agreement on 10th February 2019 and was expected to deposit the instrument of ratification before the end of 2019. The ratification process, however, took longer than usual due to the various concerns raised by various stakeholders. The country has, however, finally ratified the agreement.
Just in case we missed the news, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement was ratified by Parliament yesterday. So Zambia has basically acceded to this free trade area, which has a potential market of 1.2 billion people and an estimated domestic product GDP of more than 2 million trillion US dollars, which will be achieved through harmonization of standards and coordination of trade liberalization and facilitation.
And by ensuring that Zambia becomes export ready, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry has launched a training on risk assessment in production and trade and has since handed over training equipment to the University of Zambia.
The purpose of the stated intervention is to build capacity in food safety agencies, veterinary services, plant health services and other stakeholders to effectively implement international standards.
And ONZA Deputy Vice Chancellor Dr. Tamara Kambikambi says the institution will continue to be a key partner at ensuring that Zambia becomes an export-oriented country of standard products.
I am aware that a team of experts from the School of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Zambia is working with the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, the Zambia Bureau of Standards, and experts in various government and private sector institutions to develop a risk assessment framework for key tradable food products in Zambia, such as honey, fish, rice, and pineapples, just to mention a few. This exercise, aimed at improving the market access of these products, is very important as it positions our country, Zambia, to participate in both regional and international trade.
Prudence Tota for Camnet.
A local agriculturalist, Kayula, has charged that inadequacies in the Farmers' Input Support Program are due to the failure by government to steer the e-voucher system on the pretext of technological failure. Dr. Kayula has observed that this has resulted in massive corruption being witnessed under the Farmers' Input Support Program. And Dr. Kayula says there is need to ensure that the FISIP program is well implemented for the benefit of the farmers. He has cited reports of theft of 3,000 bags of fertilizer in Luancha in November 2020, 950 bags of fertilizer in Mambwe district in Eastern Province, and 180 bags in Katete districts were recorded as unfortunate not only on the part of farmers but the funders as well. Other incidents were reported in Chikankata district in Southern Province, where farmers were over-enrolled and most of them did not receive their inputs. He has since called on government to ensure that appropriate action is taken against people behind the irregularities in the FISIP program.
So the pilfering we are seeing, the stealing we are hearing on the copper belt in LUPUPA province and everywhere where the stealing has taken place on FISIP, it's because the system that has been used has loopholes. And we could plug these loopholes with the e-voucher because its targeting is better. And also, remove deliberately those things that were put in place in the e-voucher so that it fails. There are some things that were done deliberately so that the e-voucher doesn't appear to be working. Remove them so that the e-voucher actually succeeds. We made it deliberate that farmers will be saying, you know, the DIS is better than the e-voucher. When in actual fact, it's the e-voucher that is targeting the small-scale farmer much better than the DIS. It's the e-voucher that is closing up the gaps when it comes to stealing, corruption, and the like. The e-voucher is closing up that. And fortunately, we have gone. The e-voucher actually this season is likely to be somewhere around below 25% from 100%. It came down to 40% and now it's going down to 23-point-something%. It is wrong. I wish the president could listen, and I hope he's not just listening to those that want to pilfer, but he listens to those that are concerned that his government should score. We want his government to score. After all, he's going for elections. And for him to score, he has to listen to genuine people who are patriotic and giving advice because we want things to work well. So the pilfering is there. Yes, we have heard it. Reports have come out. We want those people to be punished.
Cheshire Home Zambia has disclosed that more than 600 parents in Eastern Province have children born with disabilities. Cheshire Home's Inclusive Education Project Acting Project Manager Muma Mulabanya says the project has recorded that 90% of the parents from these households are female. Mr. Mulabanya said the organization has recorded a total of 654 parents having children born with disabilities. Zanis reports from Eastern Province.
A woman plays a major role in society that can spearhead the well-being of many people. Despite our efforts to provide care, a woman faces various forms of abuse that affect her from performing to her potential. In Eastern Province, Cheshire Homes Zambia has recorded that 90% of more than 600 parents taking care of their disabled children are female. These are the women taking care of the physically challenged children.
Amendo yake siali bwino kulingana na mwana badwira kukamba kwene sakamba vumveka maningi challenges zile ngoja kuti sometimes watu mkumboni bamuseka mwana ngatasebera ola nchole mala bena ngwatenga tutabataya afuna kummenya tishokamba kuti yayi mumvesese mwana mumone mamenaonekera sichada tinyamikira maningi pakabungu ekachesha kulingana na matandizira pa mwana uyu pamene amba skulu tinaona kuti after amba skulu peze ka change bwino tuona kuti kukamba masiku ano at least ayiselera kukamba kulingana kuti apeze kapagulu yabanzaki
anachita accident kukwenda so anajuva sabati manja kaliko na artificial leg ngala tingana ile buno but chabe kwendo inafupi artificial leg so manje aenda cho konta mamsana kwendo manje inafupi kaenda kula.
And these are remarks from a representative of Cheshire Homes Zambia.
Currently we have over 670 parents that have children with disabilities, and it is interesting to note that over 90% of these parents are females, and so we have more mothers and aunties that have children with disabilities under this project. We would like to encourage the women to continue bringing the children to schools, and so that the children may be enlightened about gender-based violence and they might be able to overcome such violences and stand up for their rights.
Government is working with various stakeholders to ensure that children born with disabilities have access to education through the inclusive education policy. Sylvester Chimba reporting for Zanis in Chapata District, Eastern Province.
Eastern Province Director of Health Gideon Zulu says cigarette and shisha smokers are at a very high risk of contracting COVID-19. Dr. Zulu has cautioned all tobacco product users, especially cigarette smokers, to stop or they risk losing their lives. Speaking in an interview with Zanis, Dr. Zulu said COVID-19, which normally attacks the respiratory system in humans, has a high chance of being contracted by smokers. Dr. Zulu advised people that smoke to desist from the habit because it is the only way they have of safeguarding their lives. He said that generally speaking, the condition in most people that smoke cigarettes can be very severe after ending up with the virus because their lungs are already compromised. Dr. Zulu said his office has not yet done a research to ascertain the effect of COVID-19 on the people that smoke cigarettes. We take our second set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GoTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Indonesia is rolling out a new breathalyzer test for COVID-19. Passengers at train stations and bus terminals are being screened with results issued within minutes. But some health experts doubt its accuracy. In other news, US President Joe Biden has promised to restore America's leadership on the world stage and repair alliances that were fractured during the Trump years. Biden announced he was ending support for offensive operations in the Saudi-led war in Yemen, including a ban on the sale of specific weapons. He has also spoken about the coup in Myanmar and Russia's treatment of opposition figures. Al Jazeera has more.
U.S. President Joe Biden delivered his first foreign policy speech at the State Department and made news on the long-running war in Yemen, where Saudi and Emirati forces have allegedly targeted civilians with U.S.-made weapons.
This war has to end. And to underscore our commitment, we are ending all American support for offensive operations in the war in Yemen, including relevant arms sales.
On the weekend coup in Myanmar,
the Burmese military should relinquish power they have seized, release the advocates and activists and officials they have detained, lift the restrictions on telecommunications, and refrain from violence.
And on Russia's imprisonment of the political activist Alexei Navalny.
He should be released immediately and without condition.
Biden's speech, which also touched on China and on reversing the Trump administration's dismantling of U.S. refugee policy, was short but specific, a reflection of the years he spent leading the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. A former U.S. diplomat says he supports Biden's action on Yemen.
The U.S. contributed considerably to that war. Now the U.S. is saying, I will no longer contribute to this war. I will not fuel it with weapons shipments from here. I would like you all, the big powers and the regional powers, to do the same. And that is something new.
The other part of Biden's foreign policy agenda, repairing an agency that lost hundreds of experienced employees and suffered considerable budget cuts during the previous administration. Morale had crashed, especially during the tenure of former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, whom many diplomats believed used the agency to boost his political ambitions. In a separate speech to state employees, Biden said things will be different.
America is back. Diplomacy is back. You are the center of all that I intend to do. You are the heart of it. We're going to rebuild our alliances. We're going to re-engage the world and take on the enormous challenge we face.
The new administration's promise to try to restore the U.S.'s reputation, both at home and around the world.
This is the early morning rush at Pasar Senen, one of Jakarta's busiest stations. These passengers are among the first to try Indonesia's new COVID-19 breathalyzers.
Compared to the antigen rapid test and the PCR test, this test is a lot cheaper and more simple.
The scientists behind the Genos device say it can smell COVID-19 on the breath in just 2 minutes. Without getting a negative result, these passengers can't board the train. The devices will be used at public sites around the country, but scientists warn it shouldn't replace PCR testing.
Genos is a screening tool. If someone has a positive result, it should be confirmed with a PCR, but if they test negative, there's no need to.
The test costs around $1, much cheaper than a PCR test, which can cost up to $100 at some hospitals. But some epidemiologists say this is yet another misguided step by Indonesian authorities.
Some health experts are critical of this new method of testing. They say Indonesia's healthcare is in crisis and the country is stuck in a relentless first wave of COVID-19 cases. They recommend the government focuses on increasing PCR testing rather than rolling out cheaper and less accurate options.
We have to focus on increase the capacity for PCR testing, or if not, just choose to improve the capacity for rapid test antigen testing.
Indonesia conducts around 40,000 PCR tests each day and has a test positivity rate of almost 30%. Last week, the country surpassed 1 million confirmed cases, but experts fear the real number is much higher. More than a year into the pandemic, some health workers feel the government has let them down on 2 fronts, by failing to invest in more testing and by not having strict COVID-19 restrictions in place.
I don't really know why the testing is still lacking in Indonesia. It's so important, and we're still seeing people traveling and gathering at the stations. If it continues this way, COVID-19 will stay here, even next year.
10 of Dr. Ernie's patients have died, and she fears the situation will worsen as overwhelmed hospitals are forced to reject patients. The Health Ministry did not respond to Al Jazeera's request for an interview.
We now get into sports news. The Football Association of Zambia FAS has postponed to a later date Sunday's FAS Division 3 fixture between MKUSHI Warriors Football Club and Sunshine Football Club following the death of Warriors player James Chishimba. Chishimba died on Thursday at Kafwankanya village in MKUSHI after a short illness. In a later address to the FAS league manager, Warriors president Gilbert Menda described Chishimba as a player whose involvement in the game will be missed. FAS has granted Warriors' request in order to allow for the late footballer's burial on Sunday. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. ZAMRA board dissolved due to incompetence, charges Health Minister. ECZ to commence online voter verification this Sunday. Father LUPUPA apologizes to the nation over the election rigging statement. In international news, Biden lays out foreign policy plan to reverse Trump agenda. And in sports news, MKUSHI Warriors Sunshine match postponed after death of Warriors player. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 12, and it reads, "The Lord will open For you, his abundant storehouse, the sky, to give you land, rain in its season, and to bless all the works of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow. On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.